Hey everyone, it's Kai, and let's do something fun today. We're gonna look at card prices, window shoppings. Excellent. Now, we're gonna look at TCG Player and look at the prices for English, because we all know that English prices can be pretty crazy, right? Normally, when we think of Japan, it's cheap, lots of supply, really crazy, but in English, prices are always weird, always usually higher than expected, and don't forget, there are some shipping issues still around the world, probably mostly in America, because of shipping delays. Basically, US Post, man. US Post, I'm not gonna lie, I heard they're not very good. They're not very good. I think they sent one of my parcels to Japan for no reason. Don't know how Japan looks like Australia, but sure. But yeah, so we're gonna look at TCG Player mainly, because guess what? We have an affiliate link to TCG Player, so if you want to support WTC, check the description below when you want to buy stuff. And yeah, good times for us. And we're going to look at the United States location, because you might not know, I live in Australia. And if we were to look at the Australia listings, you're going to be pretty sad. You're going to be pretty happy you don't live in Australia, because probably nothing will be available. But first, let's take a look at Japan, right? Let's look at Japan. It's been a month since the cards have been released in Japan, so prices might have gone down a bit. This is UTE. UTE usually has prices that are a bit higher than normal when you, compared to the normal local shops. But there's still kind of a good way for a foreigner to look at prices and have a good idea on what might be expensive and what might be cheap. So some of the stuff here we can see, the DSR prices are very high. Again, the U one is always higher than the Nirvana one, because I think opening this was like a 24k or something, might have been definitely higher, but now it's just sold out. And yeah, the U1 has original art, so you'd expect it to be high. Moving down though, Valiente's at 3k, Orfist at 3.5. This is probably the most expensive one out of the lot so far, for the SPs at least. Eugene, lots around at 400 yen because no one likes it. Arcs at 13.8, Zolgar at 1500, right? If you want to convert these into USD, usually it's just get rid of the last two numbers. So 1480 becomes $14.80. That's just a super rough estimate. But yeah, Drag Vader at 1800, pretty high. Armor Tanoa at like 1800 as well, so pretty crazy. Borbelmine is the interesting one. This was really high in the early stages of Japan. And then we've got like what, the branch gates, is it Edelbreath? It's like 1500. Darkseid's at 1500 as well. I think the Darkseid's one is surprising there, because this one's supposed to be the weakest over trigger out of the lot. Facade is 1300. That's a key piece in Royal Paladins. Well, not Royal, no. Keta Sanctuary. That's right. Bastion. I know, Keta Sanctuary overall. And we've got like the nulls are at pretty high price, because it's something that you'll probably definitely need in the deck. And then what, like things like triggers. Triggers are alright, I guess. Like the Orfist triggers are quite high, 1800. Yeah, and then going to the triple R's, we have like, Valiente is one of the highest. Alvin is surprising. Valiente being the highest is pretty crazy, right? 1500. Orfist, this was the highest SP, but it's only 800 here. Really, like the price is high because it looks good, right? It looks good. Then we have Alden at 1300. This is a pretty meta deck. And then what, Zorga's at like 500. And then these cards are all at 800 yen. So, it's pretty average. The double R is nothing to really care about. So let's look at Cardfight Vanguard on TCG Play. How is it going? Let's look at this. Let's look at the SPs first. All right, so we got the SPs up. Let's do it first. We got Orfist. Orfist at 50 bucks. That's pretty crazy. Wait, what? No, there's only 3 listings at now $100. Are you for real? And next one is Rudis. I actually pulled a Rudis in one of my cracks, so that's pretty good. It being pretty high is pretty nice. I got Zorga with 2 listings at $60 lowest. Wow, there's like literally no listings for these, so that's pretty crazy. Yeah, $100. Wow. Everyone's just one of each. There's literally nothing for Orfist. This is super high. Like everyone just loves the offer, and I agree. I do think the SP art is actually amazing, right? But $100, man, I should have pulled this, man. Zorga at $60. This one is I never knew English had a huge Grand Blue Fetish, but it looks like they do. $60 for Zorga. Ooh. Wow, that's actually pretty insane. Rutus, yeah, the next up on the price is just a bunch of these the over triggers, except the Dark States one, which is kind of like, yeah, sure, you know, the Dark States one is the weakest, but it doesn't even get represented here. Everything's around the same market price, but if we look at the listings, the Amata Noah listing, it's like $45, I think, right? There's only one listing for Amata Noah. It's like $45.01, so this one is really sold out, especially for only a clan. I mean, a nation that only has like one good deck, which is Bastion, but I guess a lot of people like Bastion, right? And the thing is, like, buying over triggers, if you want to invest in high rarity over triggers, that's fine, because it's something that you're going to take with you through a few booster packs, right? Until they release the next generation of over triggers, because they're not reprinting these, so if you buy a high rarity one, it's going to last for a good amount. Same thing with triggers as well, right? Crit triggers and heal triggers, if they look nice, and it looks like the Orfist ones do look pretty nice, they will cost money. But it looks like there's like a lot of listings for them. But the Banshee, this is the one that Kelvin likes. He wants an SP of this, but it's gonna cost him quite a lot of money, right? It's like $35. Only 2 listings. You know what? Like, if I change the shipping country to Australia, what's gonna happen? Right? Do these disappear? These disappeared. Ah, it's out of stock. You see? That's why it sucks living in Australia. But I guess we don't have. US Post, so that's a plus. That's technically a plus. I mean, Oz Post is not that much better, but I don't know what to say about US Post. You can ask Noman about US Post. It's pretty bad. Valientes, we saw these were very expensive in Japan. These are like $35. With only 3 listings, so that's not high. Alden though, Alden is at $40, so more expensive than its Japanese counterpart. Only 1 listing as well. Like, I can feel if people are really interested in Springfest coming up, they're gonna really pay money to, like, you know, get the stuff they really want. But no listings for this is pretty crazy, considering when we think that a lot of players, like, in terms of sales for the booster pack, I think there has been a huge amount of sales. This is probably one of the best selling products with that much supply and still this little SP, especially when SPs are like 1 per booster box now. Seeing this is pretty good, I'd say. It just means there's lots of demand, which is like, and there's lots of supply, but there's lots of demand with the supply as well. So that's pretty nice. Not the overtriggers, the Sentinels should be pretty expensive as well, because they're going to be things that you carry along with you as well. You buy a Sentinel set, it's going to last because it's not being reprinted. So looks like all the Sentinels are quite low. So Violate Dragons, the Brankgate one, I think it looks like $50, right? Aegis Mare for the Bastion deck. These are all quite high, except the last 2 are not that high. So Violate, $50 pretty much. Yeah, wow. Aegis Mare, another one. Well, you've got a lot of stock at least for this one. Twin Buckler, yeah. So only the Prankgate one seems to be very low. I guess if people are really into Prison and Orfist, that's really pushing the price. Eden SP is quite high, but you know, Bruce. Overall, Bruce is quite regarded pretty well in English. They think it's the top tier deck, so sure. So yeah, Eden quite high. Marjorie needed in the deck. Facade, you know, this one's only got 3 listings and it's $22. Here's the Overtrigger. There's only 2 listings for the Hades, the Dark States Overtrigger. That's already at $30. That's pretty crazy. And then moving on to, I think the next stuff will just be pretty cheap, right? You know, triggers $20. Bobelmine, only the 17 listings of Bobelmine, and it's not that expensive. This used to be very expensive in Japan, which is pretty crazy. Barrow Magnus, all right, nice. It's $6. No, 6 listings, $17. Let's quickly take a look at Bobelmine. Yeah, lots of stock here. But overall, you probably want a lot of these in the deck, right? Yeah, these are really. This is one of the most expensive cards in JP upon release. But you know, we're looking at the SPs, so we'll take a look at the normal stuff later. And No, Eugene's not the cheapest card here. Eugene's has got 5 listings. There's some demand for Eugene, I guess. People want the memes. But yeah, you know, this one's like market price is $7. Yeah, it looks like Shovel Stud is the cheapest one out of the lot. Because, all right, that's cool. Nothing really interesting there. So one thing I really wanted to check was the holo rares, right? Because the holo rare is like every pack, I think a random card becomes a holo. So if it's not an SP, the next rarity is holo. So we get to see like, yeah, the nulls, holo nulls seem to be pretty high in price, you know, lots of stock. You know, LG Pixie, $30 if you want to play a cheaper one, sure. Brief. Everything is actually not as bad as I think it would be. Like the price only being like $7 for a holo is quite okay. I thought trigger holos would be quite expensive, but it looks like they're not. But I guess some of these have the SP versions, so that would be the expensive one. But if you get like a holo Condit Spark Dragon, I guess no one really cares. And yeah, these all have SPs, so these are not really the highest rarity. So overall, the holos are okay. Are actually okay. Yeah, I did think these would be quite higher, but I'm just wrong. You know, I'm just wrong. I don't own a store, so I'm just here looking at price and going, wow. One thing we haven't checked is the overtrigger normal. So we can look at that. So all these, there's 3 overtriggers at the top here. Where's Amatanoa? That's the one we really want, right? So, you know, Drag Vader, high. You know, these are all got like 9 listings, so kind of getting sold out. Facade is pretty, at least 3 listings for Facade, and this is kind of required. This is a really, really good card. Lowest one is 50. No, this is Australia. All right, whoops. Lowest price is $15 for Australia. You guys now know my pain. But yeah, $10. It's $10. $10 for a double R is pretty high, I think. Normally, when we think of double Rs, they used to be pretty cheap, but now that's pretty high. Arcs, 3 listings. Lowest is $10 as well. That's it's pretty crazy. What happened to the Amatanoa? That's strange. There's two overtriggers missing. Are they sold out? Alright, so we're able to look at the zeros. Alright, so Amatanoa is here at $16, but it has no listings? What? It's out of stock. And this is United States, so this isn't misplayed to Australia. So this is Amatanoa normal rarity is totally out of stock. If you want an Amatanoa right now, you have to buy a high rarity one. That's pretty crazy when you think about it. Yeah, you have to buy one for $45. Wow, and there's only one left, only one listing. And then the Stoikea one, Blessed Favor, that's only $10. So I guess that's kind of equal compared to everything else. But there's only 6 listings of this, so kind of low. Wow. Okay, that's you guys better step up these overtriggers real quick, man, real quick. So the triple R's, the Valiente is, well, it's got 13 listings and only $20. So I thought this would be the most expensive one of the lot. But it should be Alden, right? Because the demand for Alden is insane, right? Alden is pretty much sold out, while Valiente has heaps still there. So Alden, the lowest price right now is $30. And there's just no stock, right? Because you need 4 in deck. That's pretty much it. You need 4 in deck. Maybe it'll be cheaper later on when more supply gets released, but you know, right now it's just super high in demand. And then Valiente, lots of stock here. There's like 13. They said there was 13. Only like $20. So definitely Alden takes the cake for the most expensive one. Zorga is this high? People really like Zorga, man. 20 listings though, so that's fine. Rouge with 8. I think everything else is pretty healthy when we look at it. Eugene, sad times, man. $1. $1 with 33 listings. No one wants this guy. If you want this guy, just get an SP, right? I guess that's what everyone's doing. So overall, like, I guess Eden is technically a bit lower in listings as well. I mean, Rouge 8, but Eden 11, and you need 4 Edens really for a deck. But the price is all right. The price is all right. Baru Magnus, cheap, but seems to be quite high in demand, right? Quite high. 9 listings. 9 listings, $8. Yeah, seems pretty good. So to be fair though, these triple R's are pretty good. If I was wanting to build a big meta deck, I'd be like, man, I'd have trouble with Bastion. I don't really like Nirvana that much, so this is kind of fine. Zorga is super hype, but then you got things like Barrow, which is regarded as pretty strong. Gnosia for Magnolia is okay. Eden is, you probably want to get in there. The rest of it is all right. The rest of these are still quite playable. Maybe not this guy. Maybe not this guy, but yeah, the rest of it seems okay. So if you're a really big rare hunter right now, it seems pretty bad. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I think it's reasonably priced. But if you really want to get into a deck, just don't get Bastion. Just don't get $30 for an Alden. And it's probably going to be like, I mean, it's probably going to cost more. Like, let's look at this guy. If we change this to just Australia, right? If I wanted to buy an Alden, I'd be screwed, yeah? Let's go Australia. Do you guys ship to Australia? Oh, one last save point does. So I could buy a playset right now for $30 each. Whew. Hopefully it doesn't get shipped by US Post though, because then it end up in Japan and probably end up in Austria. So yeah, well, that is it. Overall, it seems like the prices are okay, right? Okay. Just the Alden is definitely the one that is taking the cake, taking home the price cake. But otherwise, just don't build this. Don't build these two, and you'll be fine. All right?